Yeah, the audience is giving this one a 20%. And is this one of those films that they're holding out the Rotten Tomatoes rating? Because it's Friday, the day that the film released. There were no showings of this film last night when I went to see Terminator. Um, and the Rotten Tomatoes rating hasn't appeared yet. Hey, was this made by the people who made Norm of the North, a film that I've still actually never seen? Uh, I'm CinematicCritic, fresh from seeing Arctic Dogs, and while I won't say rotten, the fact is that, ugh, look, I didn't hate the film. I've definitely seen worse. But this is not really a film that you're going to get an enjoyment out of. Now, granted, I went to a 3:40 showtime, not a 7 o'clock showtime. In this theater, I went to the Regal Cinemas 9 in Connecticut, in one of the Connecticut locations. So maybe more kids are going to show up now that it's for the 7 p.m. showtime. Well, so let's talk about this film. Let's basically have everything that happens in a kid's film happen in the first act. Um, which does kind of sound like Norm of the North now that I think about it. Swifty the fox wants to be the top dog, one of the top dogs. And what is a top dog? That doesn't help. The top dog are these three dogs that are mail. They deliver the mail up in the Arctic, and everyone looks up to them. Everyone loves them. I kind of got a Balto feel from it. The opening felt very much like the animated Balto, where, in that they were very key to delivering packages. Well, that's exactly how this film starts out. These three dogs are all big, popular. They're all popular with the kids, including with Swifty, this Arctic fox who is naked. He is an Arctic fox who is pure white and blends into all the snow around him, so he's never seen. Which would kind of be a moot point. It shows up again later at the very end of the film, but for a large majority of the film, he's wearing a green vest, so that is pretty much thrown out the window until the final battle at the end of the film, because of course that has to come back some way, but it's never even discussed. Now, granted, the whole thing goes from him being an Arctic fox to just the fact that he's a fox. The fact that he's not a dog. But this movie is not clever enough to make that matter. As I said, it's solved within the first act. In the first act, he gets suspended for delivering a package because his friend asks him to deliver a package. He lies about being one of the top dogs. So he delivers a package, and his boss fires him. His boss was not a good character, and I say was because in Acts 2 and 3, she actually gets good. But she suspends him in the first act. So what's he gonna... He's obviously gonna have to save the world to get his thing back. Is that where this movie's going? Nope. End of Act 1. The other three dogs disappear. They leave behind a note that they quit, but of course we know that Otto, the walrus, or Otto, this walrus bad guy who shows up, who's obviously the bad guy, and of course Swifty can't figure that out. There's really not much to say. That's Act 1. They disappear, and Swifty is like, please give me a chance, and since he's all that she has, the boss ultimately was like, okay, yeah, your suspension's over after just one day. Go deliver the package. Says, and he goes and he delivers all the packages, including one of them to Otto. It's like, yay, good, happy. All right, great, yeah. Find out that Otto is indeed, he's got all these puffins working for him. And the next package he delivers, or it might have even been that second package he delivered, where Swifty discovers something up. Discovers something's up with this walrus, Otto, the main antagonist, who is one of your stereotypical kids movie antagonists. Very funny. Got a whole bunch of minions. Or maybe he's not so funny, but things he does is he's supposed to be funny. I laughed once in this film, maybe twice, if I'm being generous. Yeah, so then it kind of goes to this boy who cried wolf element, where he's always trying to build himself up, like, and there's his girlfriend in this who loves him. Yeah, no, it's not, she never calls him out for it, but you could tell she's the only smart one in here. She knows he's lying about being top dog until he actually is top dog, which again happens in the first act, happens in the first 30 minutes. So then the rest of the movie, the other 45 minutes, is him not even trying to prove. It went by so fast, I don't know the timing of this. Because next thing you know, everyone in the town believes him, and Swifty and his girlfriend and his friends and his boss, who by now has just totally done a 180 after just one day of him being a top dog, and is all for it now and is totally with him now. Full on 180 there. Reveals that she, surprise, surprise, actually knows Otto and should have shipped him off to jail. Used to work for her. Wants to speed up global warming. So now this is an environmental. This is North of the North. I never saw North of the North, but this must be what that's like. What it is, because it's all of a sudden it's got this. Except instead of starting with a environmental message and then totally thrown away, this one started not as an environmental movie but as a fun kids flick, and then turned into an environmental movie, which it then discards again. I don't even care. I'm not going to put the spoiler up for this. Okay, spoiler for Act 3. Otto gets defeated, and Swifty wins. Everything happens and they win, he loses. That's the spoiler. That's the spoiler section for you here. This film, other than a couple of moments, was not funny, and I personally don't hate it. Critically, I can see that this is not going to go over well. And while I don't hate it personally, I'm just glad that I don't have to pay because I've got the Regal Unlimited, because I want my money back. I mean, it was good for one view. I will give it this. If I have to give it one good thing, I feel like there was the first, the second act was non-existent. The second act was a matter of minutes. Like, that is the shortest second act I've ever had. It really does go from Act 1 to Act 3. Just like that. There is no Act 2. That's why I didn't describe an Act 2. There is no Act 2. It goes from Act 1 to Act 3, and Act 1 is... Or maybe there's no Act 1. We find out, surprise, surprise, the top dogs, they just want to retire, and at the movie they do retire, and now it's, there's no more top dog, it's, top animals, and the top animals are all the delivery ones, like his friends, his polar bear, who's voiced by Alec Baldwin. The polar bear that's voiced by Alec Baldwin, gets to deliver his friend. Of course, you knew his friend that can't fly at the start of the movie. Of course, you know he's going to fly later on. Totally predictable. Deus Ex Machina abound. When his girlfriend finds out that she's building essentially a world end machine, she puts the self-destruct button on it. Of course, and of course the remote control that she had is going to get destroyed. So Swifty's gonna have to save the day. He already proved himself as a top dog, and that's the other problem. He wins in Act 1. He's top dog. So it's basically just 2 adventures for him. First, he's top dog, and now, oh, by the way, now he's got to save the world. So here's your second adventure. So maybe that's why it doesn't feel like there's 3 acts. Maybe that's why it feels like there are 2 acts, like there are 2 separate stories that are one after the other. I don't hate it. Personal, huh? Critical, 3 out of 11. Personal, 4 out of 11. No. Yes. Yes. I'm going to stick to that. CinematicCritic signing out.